What now?
How to do a burnout.
No. Oi Dante, what are we doing today?
Well, actually guys, today we're going to be showing you what to look for when buying a second-hand car, and in particular, a second-hand Commodore. Also, only a small percentage of the people who are viewing our videos are actually subscribed. So if you're going to enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. It's free, and if you don't go in to enjoy it, well, you can always unsubscribe. Alright guys, now before we even go and have a look at the second-hand car, what you want to do is you want to get a PPSR check. Now you can do that using the registration, so that being the 3 letters, 3 numbers, whatever the rego is. You can search with that, you can buy the PPSR. Now what is the PPSR? The PPSR checks the VIN to see that it matches to what the vehicle is registered to. Now that is also something that can be checked for the stolen vehicle. So for example, you might have, I don't know, a Toyota Camry VIN on your Holden Commodore. Obviously they're not the same car. That's something you need to get checked. There is also an odometer reading. Now that will show what the odometer was when it was last registered. So that way you can see that it hasn't been wound back, or that if it's exactly the same, then you know there's something a little bit sus with it, or they just haven't driven it. But generally there'll be something sus.
Alright guys, now that you've done your legal checks and everything like that, and the car is legal obviously, you want to go and actually check it and inspect it. I like to start from the ground up, so started your obviously tyres and your rims. You want to check that the tyres aren't bald or they've got decent tread on them, and you want to check that the rims aren't cracked or they've got big chips in them, because then obviously they're dangerous and you don't want to drive that at all. Now we're done with the rims and tyres, you want to have a look underneath the car, and we're going to look at the exhaust. You want to check there's no holes in it obviously, because holes means it's illegal and also it's going to cost you more money. And then you want to check underneath the car in general, try and get under it if you can, because you want to check for rust, rot on the plastic, and just anything that looks out of place and looks damaged, because that's just more cost for you. Alright, now that you've checked that, you want to check the body in general. Make sure there's no key marks, scratches. Start from the back, move your way forward. You want to check there's no gaps in the panels. Then you want to check your rubber seals, make sure they're not cracked and they're actually sealed, because that's their job. Then you want to check your sides, skirts, everything. Check the whole body, move to the front. Check that your front's not damaged, not scratched. Check your lights, obviously aren't cracked or anything like that. It should be obvious, but you know, you can miss these things. And then after that, move on to the interior and the engine.
Alright guys, now we're in the interior. What do you look for? Well, first thing, you want to look for any tears, scratches, marks on the inside. Have a look at your doors, your door cards. Is there any material falling off them? Have the speakers been played around with? Have a general look around, make a mental note. You'll be using that later. Next thing, you want to check your lights. Every single light in the car. Reverse lights, brake lights, indicators, headlights, high beams, fog lights, every single light. Make sure they all work. Turn it on, do a walk around. Make sure everything is functional. You need to make sure your windows work. Are they electronic? Can you push them down? Do they go down the whole way? If they're manual, make sure they go down the whole way as well. Another thing, your infotainment system. Can you listen to the radio? Can you play Bluetooth? Does the car have Bluetooth functionality? Do you have a microphone? Can you call people from it? Does that stuff work?
So now you're on to checking the engine. You want to pop the hood obviously, which the lever should be on the right hand side of the driver's. You just flick it, pop it, then you come around obviously. If you know how to do this, then obviously you know, but for people out there that don't, you feel around, you should feel a little thing that you can push up on, allows you to unhook it. This one's hydraulic, but some you have to flick up and obviously hold. And now it's on to just checking it. Alright, so now that you've actually popped the hood, you wanna check your engine for cleanliness. Just make sure it's actually clean. And then you want to check obviously your pipes, like these down here. Make sure they're not cracked or anything like that, because then that's just more money for you to spend there and there. That's just more money for you to spend, and we want to stop you from spending money on a car that you've just bought. Alright, and then you want to check your dipstick, check your oil. You want to pull that out. I obviously can't now because I don't have the equipment, but you pull it out, you wipe it down, and then you pull it back in, take it out again, and then check if it's at the line. If your oil's at the line, then you're alright. I forgot to mention guys, you want to check the consistency of the oil when you're checking the dipstick. You want to make sure there's no lumps and there's no metal flakes and all that, because that could mean there's damage and you do not want that. And when you're finished, you want to learn how to close it correctly. You don't want to just slam it, because then you're going to break something. You just put it down and just push a bit. Now let's go for a drive.
Alright guys, now we're inside the car. What do you look for? What do you do? How do you drive the car when you test drive it? I'll take you through it right now. So first things first, if it's a manual, you're going to want to go through all of the gears. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into first gear, and we're simply going to drive the car and run through the gears. Just making sure there are no weird noises as you're going through the gears, making sure there's no clunking, making sure there's no grinding. We're in third, we'll go to fourth. So this car has 6 gears, but I'm currently in a suburban street, so I'm not going to go too fast. But when we get when we get onto the open road, I'll put my foot down and see where we go.
For test purposes.
Yeah, obviously, yes. All right. A good thing too, obviously you want to start from a complete stop. You're not going to hop in the car as it's driving, but make sure the car's brakes are all right. So I'll do it a little bit later as well, but I'll do a 60 kilometers an hour, just slam the foot on the brakes and see if it can stop properly. There are no shudders, nothing wrong with it. Anyway, 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, and now 6th. Nothing sounds weird, nothing's bad, it's all good. Now there's no one behind me, so I'll just do this thing at 60, slam on the brakes. No sound, nothing. Good. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear anything going or thumping or thudding, something like that. You don't want any of that noise. If you hear that, get out of the car. It's not good, it's not good. While you're driving the car around, while you're test driving. Now, you want to make sure there's no one around you because you will seem like you just don't have a driver's license when you do this. But basically it's to try and check that there's no noise when you go to turn. So you're going to want to go to a quiet road, like this one. And now it doesn't matter what speed you're doing, probably best that you're going slowly, but you just want to swerve around a little bit. Spin the wheel, give her a bit of a swerve, make sure that there are no knocking sounds. If you hear any knocking sounds, or if you feel any rubbing, you'll feel it through the steering wheel. Basically that means that your tyres are too big and they're rubbing against the inside of the wheel well, and that's not good. That can act... Oh.
That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Not good, that can act... Oh. Nah! And if you're driving a lowered car, definitely do not go over speed bumps straight on. That, yeah, that's not good. That is not good. Alright guys, so we've swerved around a little bit, just to check that there's no knocking.
Scraped something, didn't you? Anyway, we'll have to mention it.
Yeah, anyway. Something else that you need to be, I guess, listening and feeling for is possible, not bumps like that, that was me going over a bump, but bumps and bouncing around in the rear end and also in the front, because you might not be able to tell when you look at the rims, but they could possibly be buckled. Now what does buckled mean? Well, buckled means that the rim has basically, I guess, it's been through a hard hit, and it's either curved in, curved out, it's not a circle anymore. Now you will feel as you're driving, it will bounce around a little bit, there'll be an uneasiness, you might go around a corner a little bit fast and you'll feel the back end or one wheel just start to shudder, I guess, and that's basically how you know that you've got a buckled rim. Now this test is my favourite, it's the acceleration test. Once again, listening, feeling for any noises, any shudders, anything like that. What you want to do, put the car in manual, I'd say probably 2nd gear, and you just want to put your foot down.
Legal speeds though, yes?
The car sounds alright, nothing wrong with it, that is what you want. If you hear anything that doesn't sound like a car accelerating normally, there's something wrong with something, I couldn't tell you what it is, but there's something wrong, and you need to get it checked by a mechanic. Which leads us on to the last thing that you need to do if you are potentially going to go buy the car. You need to get a mechanic to look over it. Not every car is going to be mechanically sound, and obviously everyone who's ever bought a second-hand car knows that. You need to get a professional to look at the car, or at least get someone with a little bit of mechanical knowledge to have a look over the car, through the engine, things that you're not going to be able to know what to look for. They'll be able to look at it, and they'll be able to tell you what's wrong. Usually they cost about $250, $300, but if you can get a mechanic that you know, sometimes they'll do them for 50 bucks.
Cheeky bit of mates rates.
Or a carton, whatever. But make sure you get that mechanic check. That is one of the most important things to do before you buy the car.
Alright guys, so now you've done with the test drive. Say you want to buy the car like then and there, or want to at least negotiate about buying the car with the owner. Use the little things you've picked up, during your walk around, like dings, scratches, little things that you can say like, oh, I'm gonna have to get that maybe repainted, gonna have to get that dinged out or something like that. But obviously, like if there's problems wrong with like gearbox or engine, if you're really keen on the car, then talk to a mechanic to get it checked out. But if not, forget about the car. You can always find a better one. But like, yeah, use the little things. Save your money, get your money's worth, please. Alright guys, now that you've watched the video, hopefully when you go and buy a used car or go check a car, you'll know what to check for and you won't get scammed and you'll get a good deal.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed the video, so please consider liking, commenting and subscribing.
Also check out our links below, Facebook and Instagram. Give us a follow, give us a like.
And other than that, we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
See you next time.